Man has to eat sand every day. But it is not because he likes to do this, but because, every time, he drinks water. They were transported, instantly, the desert, and the water in his mouth turned into sand. This superpower was like a curse. It constantly haunts him. At first the man was a bit incredulous when it happened. When he passed by a small stream, he could not resist lying down on the ground and drinking greedily. But before he could quench his thirst, he had already eaten a lot of sand. The second time, he became smarter to try another way of drinking water, well, to pick up water with his hands to drink. But again he was sent out into the desert. The third time he came out of the desert, he dragged his exhausted body. He crossed directly over the stream. This time he went to the road and stopped a car and climbed into it. The kindly driver handed him a bottle of water. He opened the cap and drank it in one gulp. But he was transported back to the desert with a mouthful of sand. He walked again for a long time, until he finally reached the the road, and stopped. Another car happened to be the same driver as before. After getting in, the driver handed him another bottle of water. But inside, he angrily refused it and asked him to keep on driving. After countless difficulties, he finally arrived at his house. The tired man lay down on the sofa. Suddenly he heard the sound of dripping water from the faucet. He could not resist any longer. He filled a glass of water, added some ice cubes. At first, he dipped his finger in it and took a drop to his mouth. Curiously, this time it was not transported. Then he kept repeating the previous action. Finally, he directly lifted the glass and drank in large sips. Seeing that nothing happened, he jumped into the pool to swim freely. But the next second he was back in the desert again. He went back to the city, exhausted once again. Suddenly he remembered a conversation. Someone had once asked him for water, but he had refused and seemed to understand. Just then, a woman walking her dog passed by. He weakly asked her for a sip of water. The woman coldly refused, saying that the water was for the dog. The man smiled. The curse was lifted instantly, and that woman vanished into thin